What's up, everyone? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and a couple of other tickers, and break down some big news coming out from the market going into tomorrow, and you should be watching for as time progresses. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. So, unfortunately for NIO, we got some negative news coming out from mainstream media, also for the EV sector, and NIO ended up getting this rejection off this 20 EMA, failing to break through this. And I said if we broke this, we would have seen a nice push up to this imbalance towards $4, but instead we rejected and we're still looking kind of lackluster. So the question is, what's going to happen for tomorrow? What big data is coming out? Why is NIO still looking more bearish? And what's going to end up happening as time goes on? I'll be breaking down everything in just a couple of minutes. Just know that for tomorrow, it's going to be Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. An hour before the market opens, we have the PPI data report coming out. We're expecting it to increase month over month for all items at 0.1%. That is once again going to be very important. We have core PPI expected to increase by 0.2%, and then core PPI year over year to increase by about 2.7 to 3%. So, how is the data looking so far, in my opinion? One thing worth mentioning is that there tends to be this high correlation between CPI and crude futures. And what you'll notice is that they tend to pump and dump together. And then for the month of June, the crude price was at 78.71. This went up to about 80.56, a slight increase in July, but it wasn't anything too crazy. So that makes me think that the data will most likely be aligned with expectations, but it might not be, much below expectations, just very, very close to what we're expecting. I think that's the most likely possibility. That's what I think is going to happen. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I don't truly know this because the data is very manipulated, and there's a lot of things that could go on. But that's a decent sign for tomorrow. If we break some key levels and get a positive reaction, the market's going to make a big move. And this will affect the Fed's policies. This and then CPI will be two big factors, CPI being the biggest ones. I think that that's going to be very key for what we end up seeing in terms of what the market's pricing in. Right now, there's almost a 50-50 chance of us getting a 25 or 50 basis point cut. When it comes to other factors, just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. There's a lot of news coming out about how the White House is saying that U.S. intelligence indicates Iran could end up attacking Israel as well. If there is some kind of big attack over the weekend or something that happens like right now, however long it takes, whether it's like, another week, whether it's a few days, it does not matter. The market's going to tank once this news comes out. If there is some kind of attack, I'm hoping that that ends up not being the case. So we'll just have to wait and see. So be very mindful of that, guys. I want to just give that big call out. Now, when it comes to earnings, Monday.com did very well for earnings. And besides that, there's not really a whole lot else that's coming out for today. Tomorrow, we have the Home Depot. Then we have Dole on Wednesday, not to mention Alibaba and Walmart on Thursday. For news about NIO is getting some negative ratings from analysts, especially after William Lee Bin announced that the company will not pursue robotaxi developments despite competitors like Xpeng and Tesla exploring it. So that's a little bit unfortunate for them. I think that this could be very, very cool for them and a big catalyst for investors to buy the stock. And this has led to a lot of criticism, right? A lot of criticism as a result of this. That once again, they're not really, pursuing that. So it would be very, very bullish if they were to pursue that, but because they're not, they're going to prioritize just their car sales and developing their own internal systems, which is still great, at least for the long term. I would have loved it if they tried to develop their own robotaxi, but it is what it is. Right now, the company's just trying to focus on their own vehicles, and they could incorporate a robotaxi possibly later on down the line. Maybe right now they're just trying to prioritize getting their sales up and such, trying to scale up because they're not really there yet. That's another big possibility. Bank of America securities gave them a neutral rating. And then we also have their seasonality showing Tuesdays being green about 55% of the time. Volume is very weak, only 20 million. So I'm not really seeing much activity for the share price. So with low volume and a lot of sellers stepping in, the odds do favor us dipping to about the 3.6 area. We do look kind of weak. However, just know this also depends on a lot of different factors, like what we're being told about, the company, what's going on with other factors, and also the PPI reports. So we'll have to wait and see. And this depends on PPI. If you get a positive reaction, you want to see it break 3.83 to turn bullish. And if we keep dipping, we'll be looking for 3.6 to be tested to turn bearish. This is favoring 3.6 in my personal opinion. For other factors out there, we also have, let me just double check this. Tesla's trading kind of flat right now. If we manage to break past 200, We're going to be looking for a push for 205. And if it comes shorts, watch 200 as resistance, not to mention support at 195. If we lose that, we turn bearish. So it all depends on what we get from the PPI reports. One could argue we have a double top and there's a risk of downside. It all depends. So we'll just have to wait and see. PPI is going to be key for us. So we'll see which way we break. For SPY, to be bullish, we have to break 535. If that's the case, 538 is coming, then 540 to fill the gap. If we end up losing 530, we're looking for a dip all the way down towards 526. We'll see which way we break. We're kind of stuck in the middle, so give this some time and be very, very patient nonetheless. We'll have to see what kind of new pieces of news come out. For Bitcoin, if we end up breaking 60,000, we could turn bullish. And if we lose 58,000, we turn bearish. We're kind of stuck in the middle. There is potential for us to try to bounce and try to push higher, so we'll just have to give it some time. So we'll see. We'll see what the PPI report gives us. Same thing with the QQQ. We look more bullish right now, but look for a test of 454. If we manage to break that, we're filling the gap to 457. If we reject and lose 448, we're dipping back down. This also depends on PPI. Apple's been trying to push. It's declining just a bit, but it's holding support. As long as you hold 215, we do favor a push for 220 plus. If we end up losing 215, look for 212. This depends on PPI. The IWM looks kind of bearish right now, at least technically speaking. There's kind of like a double top here, so there's a risk of us coming down to this imbalance back down to 201. Unfortunately, it's looking kind of weak. To turn bullish, you want to break past this 210 resistance to really start pushing, but we're kind of stuck right now. With this double top, I see a risk of us dipping lower all the way down towards 201. We're kind of stuck right now, so I'm not really liking this setup, so we'll just have to give this some time. With that being said, guys, be very, very mindful of what's going on and just know that there is a risk of downside. We'll have to see what kind of reactions we get, so be very, very patient. For Coinbase, got this nice potential push that's coming. Look at 195 as resistance, not to mention 206. And see if we lose support right here around 190, we could be dipping back down to fill this gap towards 178 if that ends up being the case. So we're stuck in the middle. If coin fails to reclaim 195, I think we might be dipping back down to fill this gap around 180. So we'll see if the market gets a decline or not. Depends on the data coming out for the next couple of days. Amazon's just declining a little bit. We're still holding support, so we're just consolidating right here around 166.8 our 20 EMA. The bullish case takes us up to about 171, and the bearish case takes us all the way down to the 162 area. It all depends on PPI. Meta is going to likely decline just a little bit, in my opinion. I think we could retest 512. If we bounce off that tomorrow morning after PPI comes out, we're going back up to about the 520 plus area, 525 plus. And if we end up losing it, we're going back down to 505. So far, this does favor upside, a little dip in a balance, but we'll have to just wait and see depending on PPI. Microsoft is likely dipping. It's barely holding 405.5. If we lose that, we'll be dipping all the way down to about 402. And if we hold this, we'll try to rebound towards 410. We're kind of stuck right now, so give this a little bit of time. Just know the chart's looking a little bit more bearish. Same thing with Google. We're actually below our key EMA, so there's a risk of it dipping back down to 162. It also depends on PPI, but that's what I'm seeing at least for the time being. So unfortunately, NIO's looking more bearish right now. We're getting some negative news coming out from the media, giving it sell ratings, not to mention more criticism about how William Lee Bin announced that they're not going to pursue the robotaxi. So be prepared for more downside as a strong possibility for the share price, unless we manage to break past 383 or 3.83, then we favor downside. Unfortunately, that is the truth, so it is what it is. Thank you for listening, guys. We'll see what happens with the big data coming out for tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.